Beneficial rain on this Wednesday here in central and eastern Kentucky, coming down at a pretty good clip. But through the afternoon hours, it has quickly exited the area, although we've got a few lingering showers, mainly south and southeast of Lexington. Weather headlines: dry, still going to be hazy as we close out the week. Much of the weekend now looking dry and warm, and it looks like those rain and storms probably holding off until Sunday night and into early next week. Max HC radar, bulk of the activity down here across southern Kentucky. Steady rain, moderate to even heavy there from Williamsburg down to the state line and running into southwestern parts of Bell County. And I mentioned we've had a few little pop-ups right there along the Bath and Menifee County line between Owensville and Frenchburg, east of West Liberty, also around Irvin and along the Estill and Jackson County line. That's due to the fact we got lingering moisture. The sun has reappeared here along the I-64 corridor, so that's been enough to mix things up and get that moist air to surface lifted and produce a few little isolated cells. I think those will wind down as we get a little closer to sunset. But that solid shield of very beneficial rain, anywhere between a quarter, half inch. I mean, not high totals, but we'll definitely take it given how dry it has been of late. Our Bluegrass Pace Carrier Skyview HC Camera Network, Richmond EKU, 68 there. Obviously, the farther south you go, more in the way of cloudiness, the rain just exiting. So as expected, mid-60s there and along the I-64 corridor into the low 70s. Farther north, upper 70s and even some 80s out here to our west. At boundary to the south, we've got high pressure over the western Great Lakes, and that is going to push some drier air in. But notice how the flow will be out of the northeast. And you know what that means, that smoke from the forest fires and the wildfires across the eastern part of Canada, that is going to be drifting off to the southwest and impact us once again. Now, overnight, we could see some patchy fog, especially into southern Kentucky. I think upper 40s here in the Bluegrass, low 50s across the south. So pleasantly cool into tomorrow morning, and then we'll see afternoon highs mid-70s. Our in-house data trying to indicate maybe a pop-up shower down south. I think that may be a little bit overdone, but I mentioned the smoke and haze returning. High pressure over the western Great Lakes, the low over the Canadian Maritime, so that is just going to continue to push that into our area. And you notice the purple shading right over New York City, so they're seeing the worst of it right now. It won't be quite as thick as it was yesterday, but into tomorrow, notice this batch dropping through Ohio. That'll be in here later tomorrow. So the bottom line, we're going to continue to deal with that over the next couple of days. One thing that should lighten it up a bit on Saturday will be the fact that this high, which is going to produce some very nice weather, upper 70s on Friday, will move to our east, so we catch that return flow at least at the surface out of the south. So that should help us out a bit relative to the haze and smoke. Now, the positive changes for the end of the weekend, notice it is going to be later on Sunday before we see the bulk of the moisture arrive with that next system, meaning it's really going to be Sunday night and into Monday before we see our next chance of rain. So a lot of the weekend is going to end up being dry. I think our best day is still Saturday. You notice our muggy meter does jump up as that moisture pools out ahead of that next system coming in late in the weekend. 49 here in the Bluegrass tonight, clearing out a little fog late, especially down south. Mostly sunny, pleasant tomorrow. It will be a little bit hazy. Again, 75 the high. We're up 78 on Friday with more haze, less of it over the course of the weekend. And with the later arrival of the rain and storms on Sunday, I think we'll see low 80s. So pretty good weekend overall. And of course, with the rain around, only mid-70s early next week. Isolated storms back in the forecast by this time next week with highs in the low 80s.